Now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
For 42 years, he has terrorized this town. Tonight, it ends.
We need to stop this mother...
We need a plan of attack. We have to get these people out of town.
How can he still be alive?
This is Officer Williams. Our night isn't over yet.
going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and today we begin a new timeline, the reboot, if you will, of the Michael Myers Halloween saga. Today we're going to discuss Rob Zombie's Halloween, starring Malcolm McDowell, Brad Dourif, Tyler Mane, Scout Taylor Compton, Sherry Moon Zombie, William Forsythe, Clint Howard, Danny Trejo, Bill Moseley, Danielle Harris, Hannah Hall, Dee Wallace, Ken Foree, and Mickey Dolans. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. As I said in the introduction, today we begin the reboot timeline, if you will, Rob Zombie's Halloween. And our movie opens on Halloween in Haddonfield, Illinois, where a 10-year-old Michael Myers, who has already exhibited signs of psychopathic tendencies, murders a school bully, his older sister Judith, her boyfriend Steve Haley, and his mother's abusive boyfriend Ronnie White. He only spares his infant sister, Angel. After one of the longest trials in the entire state's history, Michael is found guilty of first-degree murder and is sent to Smith's Grove Sanitarium under the care of psychologist Dr. Samuel Loomis. Michael initially cooperates with Loomis, and his mother visits him regularly at the sanitarium. Over the course of the following year, Michael becomes dissociative, fixated on papier-mâché masks, and withdrawing himself from the people around him, even his mother. When Michael kills a nurse as Deborah is leaving from one of her visits, she is unable to handle the situation and commits suicide. For the next 15 years, Michael continues making his masks and not speaking to people. Loomis, having continued to treat Michael over the years, now attempts to move forward with his life and closes Michael's case. Michael escapes from Smith's Grove, killing the guards and hospital staff in the process. He then kills a truck driver for his clothes and begins his journey back to Haddonfield. On Halloween night, Michael arrives at his now abandoned childhood home, where he recovers the kitchen knife and Halloween mask stored under the floorboards from the night that he killed his sister. Meanwhile, Laurie Strode and her friends, Annie Brackett and Linda Vanderklok, prepare for Halloween. Throughout the day, Laurie swears that she sees Michael watching her from a distance. Later that evening, Linda meets up with her boyfriend, Bob Sims, at Michael's abandoned home. Michael appears, murders them, and then heads off to the Strode home. There, while Laurie is babysitting Tommy Doyle, Michael murders her parents, Mason and Cynthia. Dr. Loomis, having been alerted to Michael's escape, now arrives in Haddonfield looking for Michael. After obtaining a handgun, Loomis attempts to warn Sheriff Lee Brackett that Michael has returned to Haddonfield. Loomis and Brackett head to the Strode home, with Brackett explaining along the way that Laurie is really Michael's baby sister, Angel, having been adopted by the Strodes following Deborah's suicide. Annie convinces Laurie to babysit Lindsay Wallace as well, so that she can spend some time with her boyfriend, Paul. However, Annie ends up being attacked by Michael after he kills Paul at the Wallace home. Loomis and Brackett hear the call over the radio and head toward the Wallace residence. Michael then kidnaps Laurie and takes her back to their old home. He tries to show Laurie that she is his sister by presenting a picture of them with their mother. But unable to understand what Michael is trying to tell her, Laurie stabs Michael before escaping the house. Loomis intervenes, but Michael subdues him. Laurie then takes the gun and runs upstairs, but Michael corners her on a balcony and charges her head on, knocking both of them over the railing. Laurie awakens on top of an unconscious Michael. Laurie then aims the gun at Michael, with Michael's hand grabbing her wrist just as the gun is fired, and our movie comes to its end. Renegade, be subjective. Renegade, be subjective. I say that because pretty much ever since the Rob Zombie Halloween movies have come out, I have crapped all over them. I still don't hide them in that higher regard. However, Rob Zombie's initial Halloween outing, I've always enjoyed. I do feel that's a little bit too brutal, too bloody, too graphic, too gory, all things that Michael never really was in the beginning. But it's a new director, a new take on the character, so you've kind of got to weigh that. It's not John Carpenter's vision, it's Rob Zombie's vision. That honestly is my biggest complaint about the zombie saga all around, but we'll get more in depth with Halloween 2 when we get there tomorrow. Other than that, I enjoy the storytelling of this movie, of the original Rob Zombie story. Primarily because I feel like we meet Michael a little bit later in his life, not by much. In John Carpenter's original Halloween, Michael's like a 5 or 6-year-old boy. When we meet him here, he's a 10-year-old. He's a lot older, and we see a lot more of his personal life and the stuff that could push a kid to be this way. We see that he's supposed to be taken trick-or-treating by his sister, only to get ignored so she can go upstairs and screw her boyfriend. We see how his mother kind of ignores him and allows his stepfather to abuse him and abuse her and abuse his siblings. So you look at this family environment and you can understand where the rage that is Michael can come from. He almost becomes sympathetic straight out the gate instead of building a sympathy, because you see, like I said, you see his upbringing, you see the events that surround him, you see him getting bullied at school, and the bully is one of his first victims. And you see him kill that kid, and you're like, yeah, that dude deserved it. And you see him kill his stepdad, and you're like, yeah, he was an abusive asshole. That guy deserved it. And then it just kind of spirals from there, because now he's got the taste for murder. And now it's not just about getting revenge on people and killing those that deserve it. It's not, vigilante justice anymore. Now it's just this guttural instinct to murder. And that's where it becomes a little much for me, although I know that's the way a lot of serial killers are. It starts out, for lack of a better term, simple enough by trying to get back those that wronged them. And then it just becomes this bloodlust, this taste, this power. And it becomes like a drug. You've just got to keep feeding that fix. I thought that the cast in this one, out freaking standing. I mean, just to go back and cover some of these people again. I mean, you've got Brad Dourif, the voice of Chucky in the Child's Play franchise is Sheriff Lee Brackett. You've got William Forsythe, who we've discussed a few times on the channel, Dick Tracy, The Substitute, etc. You've got Clint Howard, Ron Howard's brother. You've got Danny Trejo. You've got Hannah Hall, who played Little Jenny in Forrest Gump. You've got Dee Wallace, the mom from Cujo, amongst a number of other things. You've got Mickey Dolenz from the band The Monkees. Ken Foree was the one that really kind of jumped out for me, though, because I see this guy in the movie, and I'm like, this guy looks like a 70s version, a young version of Lawrence Fishburne to me. And I'm like, but Lawrence Fishburne's too old to be looking straight out of the 70s in this. So who's this guy? And I Google the name, and it's the father from Kenan and Kel. It's Kenan's dad, Mr. Rockmore from Kenan and Kel. I'm like, what? Mind blown. I never realized he was in this before. Granted, it's a bit part, a throwaway role, but there he is. Same with Mickey Dolenz. I grew up on the Monkees. My daughter is now into the Monkees. There he is the owner of the gun shop selling Dr. Loomis the gun. And we haven't even begun to discuss Malcolm McDowell, Sherry Moon Zombie, Danielle Harris, Scout Taylor Compton, etc. But the cast in this movie is so amazing. You know, for all of these movies' flaws, Rob Zombie did an amazing job at casting people who have that horror background to try to bring into his world and his image for Michael Myers in the Halloween saga. When it comes to Rob Zombie's original Halloween, and I know this may surprise Jeff and some other people that watch it, I give this movie 4 out of 5 stars. Again, the only thing that I really have an issue with in this film specifically is the murder scenes. Too violent, too gory, too graphic, not my Michael Myers, not the Michael that we see in the original 78, in the 81, etc. However, as I said, different director, different vision. But personal preference brings this down to 4 stars for me. What do you think of Rob Zombie's Halloween? Let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. Let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that interaction in the comments below. And make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And we're going to close out Rob Zombie's side of things and take a look at Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, starring Malcolm McDowell, Brad Dourif, Tyler Mane, Scout Taylor Compton, Sherry Moon Zombie, Danielle Harris, Brea Grant, Howard Hessman, Daniel Roebuck, Jeff Daniel Phillips, Margot Kidder, and Weird Al Yankovic. You're not going to want to miss out on that right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, right here on another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, Halloween 2 from Rob Zombie. To all my loyal fans and viewers, thank you for tuning in and joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that notification bell is turned on. That way you're alerted anytime a video drops or anytime we go live, as is the case with Statboy Sports Bar, Open Mic Night, pay-per-view PLE coverage, etc. Share this video with your family, friends, loved ones, movie fanatics, co-workers, anybody you can think of that would enjoy this video. Rob Zombie fans, Halloween fans, Brad Dourif fans, Malcolm McDowell fans, Danielle Harris fans, Danny Trejo fans, Mickey Dolenz fans, Anybody that would appreciate this content, share the video with them. It's the only way we're going to boost up my visibility in YouTube's algorithms so I can eventually get monetized, make some money on this endeavor. Thank you once again to everyone who tuned in and joined me today. It means more to me than you'll ever know. And I will see you guys next time.